Hey, let me talk to you guys. Let me tell you guys a little story about my life, man. About what I've been through. I'm fucking 26 now. I feel like I'm getting older, and on this exact date, man, October 19th. Take this shit back. 8 years ago, man. Exactly 8 years ago. On this day, October 19th. My fucking 18-year-old dumbass was driving around. I worked at a pizza place as a delivery driver, and I was fucking depressed as hell because I graduated high school and I was going to Middlesex County College, fucking living at home, going to college, not knowing what the fuck I was gonna do with my life. But I knew that I gave up on school in middle school, and I had no idea what I was gonna do. I couldn't focus for shit. I had no interest in school. I had no interest really in general, aside from sports and video games. That were really all I had going for me. And I didn't know what to do with myself. I gave up in middle school, like I said, and went all the way through high school doing the fucking bare minimum just to get by. And somehow I fucking graduated thanks to some really nice teachers and help from also some good friends, man. But I was depressed because I had no idea what I was gonna do with my life. I hated school. I hated work. I didn't want to do much. I was tired all the fucking time. I just wanted to game and sit around and not do shit, man. I didn't know why. I didn't know what the hell was going on, but I was just absolutely depressed and anxious and just felt terrible about life. And I had the thought for many years late in high school, man. I don't know, like, I guess I feel like junior, senior year in high school was when it really started to spiral as far as the depression went. And I had the thought of, when I graduate high school, when I'm done with all this, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna actually do with myself. So I think instead of fucking working 5 days a week, which sounded like literal hell, should I work 5 days a week to get 2 days off on the weekends? Like, that makes no sense to me, man. Be miserable 5 days a week to get 2 days off. Like, the math didn't add up. So I was at the point where I was just like, I'm just gonna end my life. After high school is over, I'm gonna fucking end my life, because that sounds better to me than living a life that's not worth living, working some fucking bullshit job and just being miserable. So after high school ended, a couple months went by, and every time I would be driving around as a delivery driver and be like, is today the day? Nah, I'm too scared. I don't know what I do. All this blah blah blah. Like, how am I actually gonna fucking go about this shit, man? Like, that's a big fucking deal. Like, doing something like that, and like, that's a huge commitment as well. And like, one of my biggest fears is like, what if I fucking try and I fail? And then of course that's what happens. One of these days I finally say, fuck it, I'm fucking ready. Like, it's time. I'm tired of this shit. Whatever reason, I'm done, man. I can't go on living anymore. And I fucking drove my car going 60 down an open road, 60, 70, 80 miles an hour, whatever the fuck I was going. I don't even remember. Texted two of my close friends. Hey, sorry, I'm done, man. I love you. Let my family know I love them, but I just can't keep on living when I'm just miserable with my life. Drove my car right off the fucking road straight into a telephone pole. No fucking seatbelt on, and just was like, holy shit, I'm alive. Drove somehow, just car was fucking destroyed. I was like dazed, like, what the hell? Like, and my fucking car had music blasting. I heard neighbors be like, what the fuck was that? I'm just sitting there like, fuck, my worst nightmare. I fucking tried and I failed, and now everybody's gonna know that my dumbass tried to fucking end my life and I failed. And I was a quiet, like, I rarely ever complained or talked about depression or any of the shit, man. So people were fucking shocked, man. People were beyond shocked when they found out. That fucking ambulance showed up. my friends, of course, I got the text messages, called my family, and called the police. And the police were like, hey, man, what were you doing? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I was too scared to even fucking admit what I was actually doing. And then I went straight to the fucking hospital. Spent some time there. Luckily, I had some fucking friends, some family come and visit me, man. And that was a fucking tough moment, having to look at them and like tell them like, yeah, I fucking did this shit, man. Like, and then I went straight to a fucking inpatient facility where I went through a bunch of therapy, group therapy, individual therapy. Went to a lot more therapy after that. Met some good people, man, and it was an absolute life-changing experience, and realized that I need to figure this shit out, man, because I made a rash decision, genuinely. Like, it was not really thought through. It was more just out of fear of, like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with this life. And I was 18, and it's like, I'm fresh out of high school, so you think, like, alright, I went through all of school, all of high school, like, I know what the world is. And yet, I was 18, and I had no fucking idea. I was just scared, man. And I didn't really know what life was like, and I just had no faith. I thought I was a failure. I thought that I was going nowhere in life. Like, I didn't think that I had a future. So I wanted to take my life, and then I see all these people that fucking show up, and luckily, like, I'm grateful that I have so many friends and family that were immediately there after in the fucking hospital visiting me, and I'm like, bro, like, these people give enough of a shit to show up and support me, and like I gotta at least live for them, man. Even if I'm not living for myself, even if I'm not happy with my life, like, these people are at least worth living for. And while I live for them, I'll figure out why I should live for myself. What life is worth doing for myself. I at least can't make these people devastated like I did that one time, man. Like, there's nothing, like, I felt so fucking horrible for how fucking scared I made my loved ones, and I will never forget that. But while I learned to live for them for the meantime, I slowly started figuring out how to make my life something that is worth living, which can be fucking difficult. Absolutely can be difficult. And of course, now, fucking 8 years later, it's like, I just knew nothing, man. I knew absolutely nothing, and I am grateful that I actually survived, even though in the fucking meantime, immediately after, I was like, fuck, dude, I wish I didn't fail. Like, I ruined everything, but at the same time, that was the best decision I ever made, because I was too scared to actually tell people I'm fucking depressed, or even occasionally when I did, they were like, you're fine, like, it's no big deal. And of course, I had to do something as rash as fucking trying to kill myself, driving my car into a telephone pole, for them to be like, holy shit, this guy needs help. Like, sadly, that was what it took in my case. It shouldn't be for most people, and that's obviously not the best solution, but in my case, that was the best thing I could have done, because it made everyone close to me realize, like, alright, like, we need to actually pay attention, like, we need to help him, and we need to, like, really hear him out when he says he's going through something. And that was a huge, huge difference. And for the longest time, I couldn't figure out why I was so depressed, why I had all these issues, and obviously a lot of it had to do with school. I couldn't focus and shit for school. I was terrible at it. I didn't have anything I loved that, you know, I thought I could actually do. And then I find out earlier, even just this year, man, fucking 8 years later, man, I found out that all the stomach issues I have are directly related to depression, anxiety. And I always talk about the stomach shit, man, how, like, I'm allergic to gluten, dairy, soy, tomato. Like, guess what? I was working at a pizza place, eating fucking pizza on the daily. And my stomach was like, didn't really hurt when I ate the pizza, but I would get fucking depressed. And I didn't know why. I couldn't really tell, because it was just a subtle change in my mental. It wasn't a change in my actual, like, stomach, you know? But all of a sudden, it's like, wait, no fucking wonder I was depressed. I'm literally poisoning myself with all this food that I shouldn't be eating. Like, I didn't realize that stomach pain and food and eating like shit literally causes depression and anxiety. Can cause it. ADHD is the reason that I couldn't fucking do shit in school. I couldn't focus for shit. Like, I was literally poisoning myself every day of my fucking life. Like, sadly, a lot of people are. And whether it's people struggling from depression because of similar shit like food like that I am, or any other number of reasons, man. There's plenty of reasons in this fucking world, in this life, to be depressed, to be anxious, to struggle with this type of shit. But things can get better, and it's important that you fucking talk about it, man. That's the biggest thing I could take away, is that you need to actually fucking talk about it. You can't just hold it all in, because eventually that shit will burst and you will end up making a grave mistake that, like, a lot of people won't be lucky like I am and won't survive, man. Like, a lot of people can end up making a decision like that. And if I would have made the slight difference of I fucking drove my car off the road, crashed into a telephone pole, like, I could have just as easily driven into a fucking tree, and I probably would have fucking died that day. Because I learned that telephone poles are built to fucking give out. Apparently, if they're hit, they're literally built to give out and break, and that's why I ended up literally walking away with no injuries, man. I was totally fine, and I was like, how the fuck? Like, I could have literally, the only difference would have been me driving into a tree instead of a telephone pole, and I wouldn't have been here today, man. My life would have ended 8 years ago, and I wouldn't have been able to have all the experiences that I did have these last 8 years, and that would have been a fucking shame, man, because I've gotten to the point where I am very grateful for my life, man, and I don't take it for granted, man. I really don't, because I know that I could have very easily not been here. And a lot of people don't have some experiences like that, but, like, I really hope that people can appreciate the life they have for what it is, man, because that shit can be taken away in an instant, and then you can just have nothing. Like, you could literally have fucking nothing, man.
Show 'em what we got.
So I just wanted to let everybody know that and talk about it, because this shit is important to talk about. As much as, like, I'm such a different person now and I'm so far gone from where I was 8 years ago, man. Like, I barely struggle with depression now. Like, I am past it for the most part. I don't know, I can't say I've conquered it, because it's always, you know, prevalent, but I have just become aware of my surroundings, whether it's the people around me or whether it's just the ability for me to make my life better. And luckily I've improved my diet. My stomach has gotten better, which has helped my mental fucking drastically. And I really just hope that if you're out there, if you're thinking about making a stupid decision, or if you struggle with depression, anxiety, whatever it may be, like, just voice it, man. Tell somebody that, you know, you're close to, and let them know, like, hey, I'm going through some shit. And then don't just do that, like, try and fucking do something about it, man. Like, fucking do something about it. Therapy is, like, a game changer for me. And, like, I was afraid of therapy, and I was like, of course, no one will understand. Like, they won't get it. Like, how am I going to talk about my problems? Like, what's that even going to do? Like, nothing, right? Like, that won't fix anything. And then slowly you realize, like, a lot of people actually fucking understand, man. Like, this world is fucking cruel in a lot of ways, and we need each other to get through it. There's no other way, man. You can't get through it on your own, man. As strong as you are, you can't get through it on your own. But that's the magic of human beings, is that we work together to figure this shit out. We fucking work as a community to help each other, man. Because life is way too difficult to not help one another out, man. If you're fucking going through some shit, man, speak up, say something, do something about it. Don't settle for a life you're not happy with, man. Work to make it better. You can make it better, I promise. I fucking promise you can make it better. Even if you think all hope is lost, even if you think your life is literally fucking done, like there's nothing you can do, like I promise you're fucking wrong, man. Especially if you're younger, man. Like I said, I was 18 and I thought I had shit figured out, and yet like I had nothing figured out. Like I had no idea what I was doing, but I thought I did because I graduated high school. Like it's fucking tough, man. it's tough trying to get into the fucking real world. But you'll find your way, man. I never thought I could fucking make a career making YouTube videos, streaming, like playing a fucking video game, like not having to work for a living. Like, I never even dreamed that this shit was possible. Like, I never even dreamed that I could do something like this, genuinely. And yet, here I am, 8 years later. Like, I could, if 8 years ago, like, if I would have looked at my life now, I would have been shocked beyond belief, genuinely. Like, I wouldn't have believed it, so things will get better, man. Things will get better. Just know that, chat. I want more people to just be aware, you know, of the mental health, and I take this shit seriously, and I know that so many more people than are willing to admit, like, struggle with this type of shit, man. And I will always want to give back, because the amount of the therapists that changed my life, that, you know, saved me in a way, I would love to do the same for others. And I did work in psychology for a good amount of time and was able to help a lot of people, and it felt amazing to be able to do that. But now that I'm out of psychology, I'm not gonna stop, man. I'm gonna keep telling my story and sharing that and letting people know that it's okay to be depressed, it's okay to be anxious, it's okay to, you know, not know what the fuck you're gonna do with your life, man. But that doesn't mean you should give up. You should never give up, and you should never take advantage of, or take for granted this life. Life is precious, chat. Don't take this shit for granted. I love being transparent and talking to you guys about all sorts of stuff, man, and just like letting you guys know that I'm a real person, man. I'm just not somebody on the other side of your screen, man. Like, I've been through a lot in this life, and like, even if it seems like I'm happy as shit and I have my life together now, man, like 8 years ago, like, I was so sad and miserable and depressed that I literally tried to end my life. Like, that is how different your life can be, man. In just 8 years time, like, I've changed a lot, man. Yeah, I do see the similarities and the way they show, like, the depression that Rick goes through is like such real shit. That is one of the reasons I love Rick and Morty so fucking much, is the way that they show Rick really, like, going through shit, man, is unbelievable. And I love stuff like that, like that shows real life shit, and it's just relatable for me. How do you go about talking to people if you don't really have anyone that understands what you go through and can't afford therapy? Therapy, you can always find a way to afford, and not in the sense of like obviously even if money's fucking tight as shit, like there will always be a therapist out there that will see you, even if you are poor as shit. I promise you that. That is the best part about mental health, is like if you're a fucking therapist, like, you're not in it for the money, I guarantee. So there will always be a way. The problem is, like, you have to actually put in the fucking work, man, which is so difficult when you're that down bad. But I promise you can find a fucking therapist that will see you, and whether it's for free or at least cheap as fuck, like, trust, I've literally been there, so I know for a fact. Like, I've been so poor that I can't really afford shit for therapy, and I've just called a number of places and said literally what's going on. Like, I really want to see somebody, but I don't have insurance, I barely have any money. Like, what is there anything you could do to help me? And places will, like, they will help you. It's really that simple. They will work with you, man. That is the beauty of things. And I get the fear though behind therapy as well. Like, it's you have to be very vulnerable if you're willing to actually do that, man. Like, you have to be really fucking vulnerable to actually go to therapy and work on yourself. Like, it's very, very difficult to do, but there is nothing that's more rewarding than that. anybody and everybody that has gone to therapy can tell you that fact. Like, there is not much that can help you more than in life and more beneficial than therapy. You just gotta talk to somebody and remember what you're doing all this for too, man. It's easy to forget. Even if you feel like you have nobody, you never have nobody, man. There are always people that will be there for you. There are always people that will be there for you. Even if you think they won't. Like, if they actually understand what you're going through, then most people at least will hear you out. We'll talk to you and we'll try and help you, but a lot of it is just putting in the work, man. Thank you, Keyplays. I appreciate you, bro. A lot of it is simply putting in work that you probably don't want to put in, but that's life. That is fucking life in a nutshell, you know? Yeah, therapists will not turn you away because you don't have money, man. That is, like, the beauty of the field of psychology. Because just about everybody that got into psychology and has worked to become a therapist has been down bad before and has been struggling and has understood and, like, understands, you know, what you're going through in one way or another at least. Like, they understand, I promise. And hard work that you don't want to do that will pay off more than you can ever imagine. Whether it's finding a dream to hold on to or making the changes in your life to make it worth living. If you don't think your life's worth living, man, then you gotta make some real changes to make it worth living. But that's really up to you, what it is, you know. For me, I had to actually overhaul my entire diet, which was the hardest thing I ever did. Learn how to cook, which was one of my biggest fears. And talk to a therapist about my feelings of feeling inadequate because I think I'm stupid and I struggled in school and I don't think I'm capable of actually holding a fucking job without getting fired, and I don't think I'll ever be able to figure my shit out. And then they tell you that, you know, you're fucking wrong, you're just, you can figure all this shit out, you can improve, like, there's always room to improve, man. I never know where to actually start and where to finish with all that shit, you know. It's like, I mean, it's my fucking life, man. Like, from fucking middle school, I was struggling with that shit. Like, it's amazing that I've made it here, man. I'm genuinely grateful for every year that has gone by that I've survived since then. Absolutely don't be afraid to drop. Anybody that's fucking contributing to the depression or not helping you fucking better your life in whatever way or doesn't care enough, like, if you actually fucking reach out to somebody and say, I'm fucking depressed, I'm going through some shit, and they don't hear you out, get that motherfucker out of your life, man. That is the easiest decision you can make. Easiest decision you can make. I can always say that I am very lucky in my life that I have been blessed with fantastic friends and family that helped me through the fucking tough times, and I will always be grateful for that. But if it's family that does that shit, then you gotta cut them out as well, or at least, like, don't just cut them out of nowhere, you know? Don't just, like, alright, this person's, like, fucking making me depressed, like, they're the problem. Like, don't first have the fucking conversation, even if it's so, it's not an easy conversation to have. Like, it's fucking, it sucks. It absolutely fucking sucks, especially as family. Like, but you have to tell them, like, honestly, like, you have to get them to listen to you and say, like, you are causing these problems, like, I feel this type of way, and if they aren't willing to even hear you out, sadly, you have no choice but to cut them out. That's the reality, but you want to do your best to get them to hear you out first before just cutting them out, I would say. Whatever it takes, make them fucking look you in the eyes, make them listen to you as much as you can, and if they still won't, sadly, they gotta go, man, because at the end of the day, you gotta do what's best for you, even if it comes to family, even if it takes cutting out family. Like, that's your number one priority. It's that simple. Fantastic.
W-I-N. I told you we got this.
Blood don't make you family. Loyalty does, for real, man. For real. You gotta make your own. No matter what it is. Even if it's something small like this fucking multiverses community, that's why like I wanted to build up the Discord, man, just to for people that don't have anywhere else to go, man, like even through fucking Discord is communicating through people and like dude, in my fucking Discord, man, if you message, like I'm sure some people will respond and at least like be an ear to listen to whatever you got going on.
It smells like cross-promotional IP.
Never say you are causing this, make it neutral. Yeah, 100%. Like you don't want to literally put the blame all on them and say like this is your fault. You want to tell them like you do this is how that makes me feel. And it may sound corny to say that, but I promise that is like the best way to go about it. Like you want to have them hear you out and not try and put the fucking blame on them. Like understand that you guys can work together to fix whatever problem it is. And sadly, in a lot of cases, family will... Oh, I can't believe I missed. Family will sometimes just like I don't fucking care, or they won't work with you, and that's just not somebody you want in your life. So I hope you enjoyed some real talk with Bhands. I like always talking to you guys about some real shit and being open and honest and letting y'all know that I'm a real person just like everybody else, man.